WoW is a game about a lot of things. In a lot of ways, it's a game that virtually anyone can find something to do, from high-end mythic raiding or pushing plus 25 keys, to farming transmog or collecting pets. But when it all comes down to it, the feel of your character matters the most. What I mean by the feel is kind of hard to explain, because sometimes it's just what my character looks like, or sometimes it's how the class plays, or sometimes it's hard to pinpoint exactly, but something just feels off. For example, I remember when I made an orc female warrior, because I think they honestly look badass in all plate gear, and I like their combat animations and everything. But I just couldn't play it, because there was one weird animation where the arms would kind of flail in an awkward angle whenever I jumped. That might sound weird, but I'm that player that just likes to spam the jump button all the time. And every jump, I was like, oh, that looks bad. So I had to change races, and it just felt off to me. And then, there's the feeling of an awkward rotation. Like in the beginning of BFA, Warriors had Ignore Pain on the global cooldown, and oh my god, it ruined the entire spec for me. It just felt so bad pressing a subpar defensive so I don't overcap my rage, when I could be using an attack instead. That felt horrible. But when they reverted that change and put Ignore Pain off the global cooldown, I was able to have tons of fun tanking on my warrior. And finally, there's the feeling of wanting to try to play your character differently. Going back to the warrior example, I mainly played Fury and loved Fury. It's a blast to play. But sometimes I just felt like trying out arms for the night. I'd play around with it, see if I could do decent damage in a raid or dungeon, and then I'd go back to Fury, which I preferred. I never intended to switch to arms permanently. I just wanted to fool around on arms for a night. And you know what? It feels really bad if I can't scratch that itch and play arms every once in a while. That's why Covenants in Shadowlands is gonna suck. I'm gonna choose a Covenant, and even if I'm happy with that choice, I'm always gonna have this feeling of, what if I chose this other Covenant instead? Would that ability or Soulbind be fun? You know, I want to try arms for the day, but it really needs the Venthyr to do what I want to try. It doesn't matter if everything's balanced, which it won't be, but it really doesn't matter, because I just want to play around an off-spec, or even just a different talent build that likes a different Covenant, and I won't be able to. I'll have this feeling in the back of my mind that I want to try this thing, but I can't. Blizzard likes to talk about RPGs needing meaningful choice. I'm not sure I agree, but what this Covenant idea does is makes us make one choice so we can't make other choices. We had a similar problem in BFA with Azerite gear. Azerite gear could have been awesome, but the restrictions on the gear ruined it. The idea behind Azerite gear was there would be traits on it that would make our specs play differently or more interesting. But then Blizzard made the gear hard to get, and then they made the traits spec-specific so we couldn't use the same gear for off-specs. So instead of being able to make interesting choices like they wanted, we just used whatever we got and made the best of it. The system that was supposed to give us interesting choices just made us frustrated because, hey, I want to try arms, but I can't because I don't have any of the whatever traits, and it's dog shit without it. It would have been way more fun if they showered us in Azerite gear so we had more options to play their game, not less. It's the same with Covenants. Don't tell me how to enjoy your game. Let me play it in as many ways as possible. Let me make those interesting choices whenever I want. Let me play ARMS for the night with an optimal setup, cause it's just gonna bug me if I can't.